Okay, the recording is on.
Great. So there's 4 or 5 of us now?
Yes. Henry, Jennifer, Sasha, and Norge.
And George.
Okay.
George too, and I'm Tom.
Tom. Okay.
And
anyone else do you think might pop on?
Yeah, anyone else. When they pop on, you'll hear the bell.
A ding. Okay.
You heard the ding sound, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll know when they come on, and just when someone comes on, I'll say hello. And that's the easiest way to do it. Well, on my email, I mentioned a few subjects. I know, people had some rather simple questions. One person wanted to start organizing an FAQ, which I think is a good idea. And in fact, I talked with someone else briefly who thinks it might be a good idea to try to write up the process. Because what Patrick has given us is a bunch of templates and a bunch of audio. And I'm a person who does much better by following directions and writing. Hello?
It's Harold.
Hi, Harold. How are you doing?
I'm always good.
Hi. That's great. Okay. We have Henry, Jennifer, Sasha, Norge, and George on the line here, too. And me, Tom.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Okay. And I was, I just started off saying one person mentioned they wanted to start an FAQ. I feel we should be sort of writing up the process, because what Patrick has given us is a lot of templates and a lot of audios, and they sort of develop. And I'm a person who, when I listen to audio, it sort of goes in one ear and out the other, and I have to take notes. And I'm much better when I write things up clearly, so I can keep going back over them and writing and make sure I absolutely get it right.
You are correct.
And one of the things Patrick told me, and I really get it, he says that when he makes an audio, he listens to it 2 or 3 times.
You bet.
And he listens to it very critically, like it's someone else doing it, and he calls bullshit on himself when he needs to, and he fixes it. Mm-hmm. So, in the way, the fact that the process is constantly changing, I think is right. That means he's trying all kinds of things and correcting it when he doesn't. And I'm actually rather pleased with the last-minute changes he's made this week, because he's gone back to using the 998 and 999 post office numbers, which when he did that, about 3 or 4 months ago, that sounded like the most reasonable approach to me. Because it's going back to the de jure treasury in Philadelphia.
Yes. Okay. I just listened to one of his new audio postings today.
Yes, I just finished it too.
Yeah, and when I went down to the post office to get that post box routing number, that 4-digit number, they didn't have a clue of what I was talking about, and was inclined to tell me.
You get a whole lot of mail, right? On every piece of, probably on most of the mail you get, there's a 9-digit zip code.
Right.
And it's the last 4 digits. The first 5 digits of the post office. The last 4 digits is your box number.
98028.
But I went to get the form also at the post office today, and they tried to give me a regular address change.
And upsell you a post office box.
Master.
Hello?
Get that number.
Hello?
Yes.
This is Yvonne, California.
What's your name?
Yvonne from California.
Okay, Yvonne, yes. And we have Henry and Harold and Jennifer, Sasha, Norge, and George on the line, and me, Tom.
Hi, everybody.
Greetings.
Hi.
Hello. How do I mute out, Tom?
You can mute out with a *6.
*6. Okay. I don't want to interrupt.
And then you can get back in whenever you want with a *6.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Thank you.
So he's also mentioned going into bankruptcy court, and that was within the past week. And I happen to be within bankruptcy, so we have an opportunity for us to try it both ways. And I've heard that there was a case where someone I've talked to a person who knows the person who did this. He needed a very serious operation which he couldn't afford. He took his birth certificate to a major hospital. The major hospital accepted it as complete payment for everything ahead of time, and not only that, set him up in a rather expensive a fifth-floor penthouse apartment for the whole thing, and then gave him a lot of the residue back.
So did he already have his private foreign grantors trust set up?
No,
and
he had none of that stuff. He just took the birth certificate down. Now, I think Patrick...
I got a question. Was that process that you were just talking about, is that the direct treasury account that he tapped into?
Yeah, some people call it the direct treasury account, yes.
Yeah, because that's pretty much what we're doing. We're going right to our authority over the assets and taking away the ability for anyone else to tap into it.
You're talking about A for V processes, right?
No, not A for V. I know a lot of people identify with that. No, moving in the private or doing what Patrick is doing is taking authority over your true asset, whatever name they label it. Now, Patrick, he might have a label. It's been a while since I've watched the process, but
the only label I remember is he called checking out.
Yeah, checking out. Okay, getting complete control, own nothing, control everything.
Right.
And squash everyone tapping into your. They can't override your authority. They can't access our account anymore, whatever name that is.
Well, I think Patrick. Go ahead.
No, I was commenting on what she was saying. That I believe he referred to that as revoking other fiduciaries that has been acting as fiduciaries on your primary account, your FI commissary account.
Yes,
everyone and anyone. Yeah, the banks, the courts.
Basically,
employers,
the people are assuming your roles, figuring out you don't know any better. And what Patrick is on doing that is assigning us the proper role.
Right. And that's through the Form 56 and the 1040, correct?
56 assigns a fiduciary. I don't think it's a 1040. Isn't it he does a 1041V as a voucher? Though I don't know. I don't think in his latest versions he's even using that.
Well, I just recently, sent in my Form 56, but per the IRS instructions as far as sending in that Form 56, it's requiring that you fill out a 1040 and sit it in with the Form 56 in order to get the Form 56 in. And that's what I noticed in the process of me doing the Form 56.
Well, what I've heard elsewhere, that undoes the status that Patrick is setting up for us as a non-resident alien, because by submitting a 1040 or a W-4 or I think an SS-5, I'm not sure about the SS-5, well, they take it as you actually volunteering to be treated as a resident alien, which means you agree to be treated as a resident of Washington, D.C. And that puts you right back in the system.
Well, yeah, it's jurisdiction. They're going to do everything they can to trip you up, and just doing the verbiage and the lines and how to do it on those forms, and that's what everyone get clear on. That's where I'm getting confused.
Well,
and then putting in.
Yeah, I can see the point there. Patrick gets annoyed because we ask really detailed questions about the form, and it's clear to him, and he's right. Many of us don't read the damn instructions on the form, but that's also true. That maybe we find some things on the form that shouldn't be followed.
Well, not necessarily. It's just we're in the catch-22 that this in the private is specific and detailed to pull us out. And the other forms, as you're saying, and once you start filling out their forms, there are catches in there to take us into their jurisdiction again.
Yes.
So with Patrick having so many people on his ball, so to say, it needs to get, like what I was talking to you earlier, we have to get every single way to do it proper.
Right.
Then take what people are doing that worked, things that weren't working, and we're going to have to go over it with a fine-tooth comb so that when people submit their paperwork, they know that it is done proper.
Right.
Then we start experimenting and sending it everywhere that we need to, and see what what comes of it. And that's how detailed I want to be, because I'm as detailed as Patrick. But Patrick, until I get the whole process, I'm not sending my stuff in. I've already done enough of my stuff, and so far they've walked over everything. No matter what way I put in, doing it according to the law and the language, and it didn't matter because a rogue court is a rogue court. But what I did realize with going through that, they're actually building evidence for me so that when I do get to the right place, that when I do actually put in the proper notices and applications and forms done to the T, that they can't budge on it anymore. It has to be surrendered to, our authority. Does that make sense to you? And that's what I want to do.
Right.
This is Patrick. I'm on the line, too.
Hi, Patrick.
If you have any questions, I got a few answers here for you.
Okay.
The number one key thing is, like I put up there, it's all in the name, okay?
Yes.
You have to have your family name as your first name. Then you have your middle name. Then your last or permanent name is the name that was given to you at your birth. Like in my case, Patrick. So my name is Devine Patrick. That is the living's name. And see, anything else, you are associating and giving life to your corporate fictional entity. And they have you right then and there.
And I asked Patrick when he came out with that, because I haven't submitted many of my forms because I've been waiting on my 98 number. Should I go back and redo the UCC ones and the rest of the forms with that family name, given name? And he said yes. Might as well get it right all through the process. Is that right, Patrick?
Well, you can set the UCC ones aside, okay? They're a corporate document, okay? We want to deal with the living document, and the living documents are located with the post office.
Okay.
Now, are those, is that the forms that are created by us, the living, or are we still going to be using their reformed forms?
Well, like we take our certificate of live birth, okay? That's your foundational document, okay? That's the one that was created very first. Take a look at it. Your name on there is, for first name, is your given name. Your last name is your family name. That's the wrong order. That's on the opposite side of a looking glass. Your parents' names are the same way. What is that document? That document is an inherent, a right of inheritance. So who are you going to come after? Am I going to come after Francis, or am I going to come after the Devine family for my inheritance? I'm going to come after the Devine family.
Mm.
Family comes first. Family, so it's sort of like the chicken and the egg. Which came first, the egg or the chicken? The chicken, the family. Then the egg, the little sibling. It also goes into the parable in the Bible about you sit at the end of the table and you get called up when you're recognized. So last becomes first. First becomes last.
Okay, when we send that in, the birth certificate, that's the raised certified copy that we're sending into that one facility?
Well, you're going to have to send you're going to have to mark it up, and you're going to have to call it a false registry. And you're going to put a notation for the correction of your name and your parents' names on that document.
Okay, and that's the raised certified one.
And yeah, well, I'm sending them in registered, but I'm putting my registered mail label on the letter, not on the envelope.
And
right.
The birth certificate you send in, does that have to be an original certified copy, or can we make a copy?
I'm just putting I'm taking a JPG of it,
okay,
and putting it down as a reference document showing that it is wrong.
Okay.
Okay. It's a lot cheaper.
And see, you've got to send it into at least three post offices. The state capital post office, and each state capital has a governmental post office, not a United States post office. It's a governmental post office at the state capital.
Right.
And then also in Washington, D.C., the governmental post office is 20220.
Right.
And then the third one is with the Church of Rome, and that is at 10220, I think.
Okay.
I've got to go back in and verify that one, but I
you
think
mentioned
that's
on
what it is.
You mentioned on your call over the weekend that we should send 3 to the state: one to the Secretary of State, one to the Attorney General, and one to the registrar who may be known by various names.
Well, we send that in, okay? We send a notification into them, okay, for the purpose of ordering them to make the correction. But they're not going to make the correction. So now they're obstructing justice. Because, see, the real register in this country is the postmaster of that post office.
Okay.
That governmental post office. The oldest system out here is the postal system.
Right.
Or the post office system.
Precedes the Constitution.
And that is where you get recorded into the book of life and into the book of death for inheritance purposes.
Good.
Also, that Treasury Department that was set up in 1789 was really the Post Office Treasury Department.
Treasury Department.
Because they're not going to let the corporate government handle our assets. So it's got to be held, our real assets have to be held away from the corporate government. So it was with the Post Office Treasury Department.
Did you ever put address for that, Patrick?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was in one of the recent posts. I think one he made over the weekend.
Yeah, about that statute.
Yeah, about the various post office numbers, the state's number, and then the church's number, and I think you had their street addresses in there too.
I don't think I had the street addresses on there. I know I posted those before.
Okay.
But you can find them. It's the St. Patrick's Trust Building in New York City, and then it's basically where the Department of the Treasury is located in Washington, D.C., and then your state capital, just look up the zip code for your governor or attorney general or whatever there at the state capital, and you'll find out. And then if you do a search through the U.S. postal system for zip codes, you'll find out that zip code is not a United States post office.
For the state capital.
It's a state governmental post office.
Okay. So you're saying we don't need the UCC ones now?
You don't need to worry about. Set those completely aside. They're not going to do you any good. It's all through the post office.
Okay.
And you have to come in on all your documents, your driver's license, your certificate of title, your mortgage. They're all false registry documents.
Okay, so Patrick, what you're saying is all these contracts, basically we're going back to contract law and we're superseding that even, aren't we?
We're basically coming in and we're, read the definition in Ballantyne's dictionary about false registry. Okay? And see, they like the mortgage. And I told people they need to know how the money system works. Well, when you understand how the money system works, that house is paid for at the end of 3 years.
Well, I understand that. Even though, with all the fraud that they perpetrated, is it best interest to just let those fraudulent contracts go, or because it still has to go into the pile of the cases and the, everything from our history to get rid of those contracts and those licenses.
But
so are we just letting...
All those contracts, they're held in a bank. That post office, that governmental post office, is a bank. It has a bank routing number. See, people thought that they knew everything about the zip codes. They don't. That zip code is a 5-digit number dash a 4-digit number. Now, the postal bank system has 2 bank routing numbers that are there. Like in my case, the state capital of Iowa has a governmental post office of 50319. Now, the bank routing number for deposits into that, for deposits coming in, is 50319-9999.
Right, that's why they were getting upset with that 9999 and the 9998.
Yeah, and then you want to do a withdrawal, you have to send a certified voucher into the postmaster because the postmaster is the registrar of the post office. Not the county recorder, not any of these other nitwits out here. It's all in the post office. You want your money? It's all in the post office or in the postal office under a fraudulent or a false registry. And in a false registry, as soon as you come in and correct your name and come in and claim that it is a false registry document, it has to be forfeited over to the United States. And guess who the United States is? You, because now you are the living individual with the right name, and you are the executor, and you're the only one that has a lawful claim against that account. They have to forfeit it to you.
That's when we forfeit the dead mail, the all caps and all that junk, and we go directly to getting our living account through the postal acknowledgement.
Yeah, they send us what is there, and then we turn around and put it over into our de jure foreign grantor trust account at the post office in Philadelphia.
So, and to answer the question, can we go after the fraud? Do I understand this correctly? Just like we can go cash in the driver's license, we can take the mortgage and any other fraudulent transaction that may have been taking place and cash that in.
Yes.
Okay. So we're basically negating if frauds. Can we go back after property taxes?
Yes, it's all being held under that post
Parcel
office
number.
bank account that you have. And see, you have a 9-digit account number there within that bank.
Oh, right. So our 9-digit zip code is our own bank routing number.
Well,
right.
No. The 9-digit with the 9999 on it, that is the bank routing number. Okay, so that's the bank, like your local bank.
Yes.
There's 1,000 customers there, and they all have the same bank routing number on their check. But they all have a different account number in there.
Yes.
So like at the state of Iowa, there's probably 3 million certificates of live birth registered account numbers. There's maybe 1 million driver's license. There's maybe 1 million titles to vehicles, property, houses and stuff like that. There's another 9 million accounts. See, they've got a lot of accounts there, but they're all that account, that one account belongs to you.
Yes.
That's in that bank.
Okay, I got another question, Patrick. To bring to fruition all of the things that we've done in commerce, and with the going direct to our asset account in the postal, they know everything that's been done, recorded, filed, cases against us. They know all of these ledgers, the positive and the negative. They have the true ledger. So basically, we don't have to go into these individual court cases or foreclosures and all of the fraud that's been perpetrated. We're just going after, once we get our name and our lawful status secured and acknowledged, then they just balance that out. And now, as far as accessing or tapping into it, or, that's a whole different topic for me.
Yeah, then you come out and you get your assets out of that postal bank, governmental bank, treasury office, and you put them in your back pocket or take them over and deposit them underneath your foreign grantor trust. You get into any other contract again, and I will come and beat your living the shit out of you.
Beat the salt out of us.
Okay?
Let me clarify what you said about the government.
You never contract, okay? You always pay as you go from now on when you come out of this system.
Good. Okay.
You forget
so no 501(c)(3)s or no companies or whatever they call it. All that stuff has gone by the wayside.
You do not use usury. You stay away from it.
Okay, so the stuff that's going around where they talk about in the private, so that's nullified now from this point forward because we're the living.
Yeah, when you come out of this, then you're going to be totally in the private, and all the statutory laws and everything else do not apply to you. See,
okay,
if you get a traffic ticket, okay, take a very simple traffic ticket. They put down, like my case, Patrick Devine. Now, if I come in there and I sign it Devine Patrick, have I given life to that dead entity? No. He's still dead. Now, they can't do anything with a dead entity. It's only when you use the same name, and see, that's what people have gone into court and said, well, my name's Patrick, and I'm of the family Devine, thinking that that made a separation. No, you're still giving them a first name of Patrick and a last name of Devine, and you just gave life to your corporate entity.
Okay.
So you haven't gained anything.
Now, as far as doing commerce in the world, which we're going to end up doing, we just pay cash or...
That's lawful commerce.
Okay.
When you want something, you're in barter. You're bartering in lawful commerce.
Okay. Now, you suggest getting a Direct Express card. Can we withdraw from our 9998 account and direct
that was a
no.
green.
Pardon?
What the hell?
That debit card that you're thinking about?
Direct Express Master Charge debit card, where I'm having my Social Security deposited right now.
Yeah, that was Direct Express. Now, see, that's a green card, and that might be able to be continued to be used. You might be able to roll that over to your foreign grant or trust. I don't know yet.
Right. Well, I did ask the Direct Express people when I called them, can I deposit into that? And they said only the government can deposit into that. Right. So I'm wondering whether the 998, you can direct the 998 account to do instead of returning you cash, to deposit it in that account.
Well, basically, you want some money, you turn around, you write a voucher out and say, I want lawful money, and now with your, and see, you've got to go in. One of the other things, when you're correcting your certificate of live birth, you've also got to correct your mail address.
Yes, 4232.
With the 4232, the rural customer delivery instructions, and you put your name correctly on there. Your last name is your given name, and then your family name is your first name. So put that on there just the way. Read the form. That guy that was talking about earlier, about the Form 56, saying that you have to send in a 1040 form. No, it says send the Form 56 to where you send your 1040 forms.
Right.
Okay. See, you've got to read what they're saying, and so many people misread that. But the thing is, nobody in this country could ever do a 1040 form because you do not have the accounts that are attached to that making a income tax payment, because income tax is a tariff tax for the usage of the Federal Reserve dollars. Now, have you used the Federal Reserve dollars? No. You basically thought you were using lawful money.
Right.
And basically, your corporate entity was not getting paid usage fees for the leasing of his assets that was a taxable item. He was getting less than 1% return. So therefore, he owed no taxes either. And you do not owe any taxes upon your labor. That's in the law. But see, so many people think that basically the government is not going to survive. Well, basically it's not going to survive very long if they have to pay their taxes that they ought, because they're the ones that are using the Federal Reserve dollars out here, and they're the ones that are making 3 and 4 and 5% profit off of the usage of the Federal Reserve dollars, but they have us paying their taxes for them.
Right.
That's what the the whole scam is about the 1040 form. I'll let you guys go on and talk. I'll sit back here for a while.
So any more questions from people?
Yeah, you guys were mentioning these 998 accounts. What are those? These 998 numbers you are talking about.
It's a bank routing number. Okay, it's a bank account number with the state post office. Okay, just like on your check. Take a look at your check. Your bank, local mom and pop bank, have a 9-digit routing number. They have maybe a different routing number for deposits than they do for withdrawals.
And they always start with 998?
No. This is what the post office, the governmental post offices use. 50319 is the first 5 digits dash 9999 as the last 4 digits, so that they have 9 digits. A bank routing number. It's just a bank. This whole thing is about banking. They correlate it to your local mom and pop bank.
I think this is explained pretty well in Patrick's audio that he just released. It goes over this in quite a bit of detail. Hello? The rings are announcing new people coming in.
Well, while we've got new people on the line, I want to ask a question of coming together in this new format of understanding what we've got, disclosing, getting everything done properly. Is there any way of formulating like a directory or a master list or people that are willing to communicate, and if you're willing to do this weekly thing, or we can connect on Skype or any of those formats so that we could get, the questions and then understanding, like writing a little, book or examples, because I know that in my email I can just scan a whole document. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we can put the right way and the wrong way, because I'm visual and I color and highlight everything, and I go through the dictionary or whatever. So that way everything can be depicted so that it's clear, understanding, and then the different ways of that's been implemented and what worked and what didn't work and stuff like that. So I just wanted to throw that out there, as far as connecting on that level.
Well, I suggest that we use this Monday night as a regular time when we can get together and ask these questions. And in fact, it might be that we might want to address the questions to the group during the week, and then we all talk about them on the following Monday.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. That way we could do like the legwork of what is, so that it's not compounded, and that way we can get it real simple and, direct and taken care of.
Right.
Like a little,
We can each process the questions and then go on Monday, go over our answers and make sure that we're right, because each one will probably get something wrong, but there will be a lot right that we do get.
Yeah. And one thing here, okay, you guys are going to be surprised, really, when you do that PS form, post office form 4232, and you take your certificate of live birth. If nothing else, you just take your certificate of live birth and you send it to your state post office, to the post office there in Washington, D.C., and to the postmaster addressed it to that postmaster of that post office and the Church of Rome post office. Noting
well, we should be able to. But that goes directly to them. It doesn't have to get mixed up with the different states. Everybody can take care of their own state and maybe list it for a general directory, but the ones that you're talking about would be specific to and that name and that address. So, we could get that posted on the site, right, Patrick?
Yeah, well, basically, yeah. That you send a copy of that 4232 into each one of those post offices along with your claim of your executive claim of false registry on that certificate of live birth, and you make the notation of the errors that are in the names and that what should be the correction on there in the file. Now you posted that to that postmaster. Now he has to post it because it's coming now from you with your form 4232. You are now the postmaster of your post box.
Okay, where does it come in where you send your self-addressed to the post office with the correct address, and you keep a copy of what you're sending to the postmaster? Do you do that or no?
Well, you do one to your local post office, to the postmaster at your local post office that you're living at. Okay? Now, why do you do that with the local postmaster? Well, you want your mail delivered to you to the living, not the dead mail. And you can mark on there, if you're the only one living at that house, and I'm Patrick, or I'm Devine Patrick, I'm not Patrick Devine, so I say on there, none for other people to receive mail at that address. Now, guess what? You go in the court, and the court tries to say that you are Patrick Devine. You call in the postmaster of that post office and say, hey, what is my recorded name and address?
Right, because the post office stands above the government.
Oh, yes. You do not fuck with the mail.
No. I got another question before, and you don't have to answer it now, but I also want to open up the topic on how to protect ourselves and get ready for not screwing up in the future.
Well, Casey, that's sort of a tough one.
So we
have a human nature to fuck up.
Yeah. Well, I want to touch a lot of different little topics or scenarios and maybe, and how not to...
Just look at everybody's love life and everything else. How many times we've sort of messed up through our lifetime.
More than enough.
Yeah, still not married.
Hey,
oh, well.
Before we get deep off into that, I got one more question before we move on to the next topic. Patrick, you've been mentioning this Church of Rome Postmaster General. What is this Church of Rome, and how do we find that Postmaster General?
That it's not a Postmaster General. It's the post office that is located at 10220. You just send a notification that it's like you're doing to your state. You just mark it to Postmaster number 10220.
Okay.
Someone has this on speakerphone. Whoever has this on speakerphone is echoing back to us. Could you mute yourself by pressing *6?
Okay, I think the feedback's off now.
Okay, good. Oh, it's there a little bit.
Yeah,
Someone
you don't need to know their names. You just need to know their title.
Okay. What I'll do, Patrick, is just one of the messages back to the group. I'll just get out the correct addresses for the state government and the church, and just put the full addresses. I'll put them out there. So our homework right now is to do the 4232 and the false registry document. Send them to the three state officials and the Postmaster General, the Registrar of the Federal, and the St. Patrick Trust Department in New York.
Yeah. Now, I don't think the three state officials are going to do a damn thing with it, because I just wanted to prove that basically if they do not comply, okay, with the order, then basically the state officials are not worth a hill of beans.
That's right.
The only place that we can go to now is to the post office.
But we've put them on notice.
Yeah, we put them on notice, and now if anything comes back out of that, we will turn to the postmaster and have them make the basically they're messing with the mail.
Okay. Now, I didn't quite get this. I understand the process you use for doing certified mail, more or less, but I've tried to go to my local post office and try to get a registered slip with a red number on it. They wouldn't give it to me. They said they would only do it when I bought registered mail, and they would put it on when I handed everything over to them. Should I just try to go to another post office?
You might be able to go online and order the supplies, because if you read that document, okay, that 4232, and I told you to read the document.
Yep.
It says that you have the right to obtain the supplies, and then you can give your registered mailing to the rural delivery person, so you can do certified mailings right at your local house.
So I should take the 4232 to the post office and have them read it.
Yeah. Or basically you can go online and order supplies online.
Okay, good.
Or go to a rural route post office, because they'd more understand that you take things home. Just let them know that you're doing it from home, and you're not ready to fill it out in the office at that time. I've walked out with handfuls.
Well, basically, I'm educating my postmistress all the time, and basically, she's loving every bit of it.
Now, you got a good one.
She wants to come out of the system, too.
That's motivation.
She also reminds me of an old girlfriend I had, too.
Okay.
So that's the next move.
Well, I think, isn't that a good assignment for this week, to get the 4232 and the false registry in and learn how to mail them and get our supplies? That's a good first step, Patrick?
Yeah, I think so. And basically, once you get this thing going, you'd be surprised that you might be out of the system. And then if you've got your a state EIN, okay, with that SS4.
I have that.
And you've got your foreign grantor trust. And see, the problem people are having doing the SS4 and then also calling up to get the a state EIN was that they were using their wrong name as the executor. So you're going to have to, if you've got those, you're going to have to call them back up and make the name correction.
Okay. Yes, I got the EIN, but I have it with the reverse name. So
yeah.
I'll have to modify that.
Yeah.
So that has to be done previous to the 4232.
What?
That has to be done prior than the post office document that we're talking about.
I don't think necessarily.
Well, no, that post office action, I'd get that taken care of right away.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that should be first thing on your priority list, because then when the cop tries to give you a ticket or something like that, say, no, my name is this, my family name is first, and then my given name is last. And when
I got
contradict it, you say, well, let's go down to the postmaster, and basically he will tell you, but you're wrong.
Okay, so you're taking control of your lawful name. They don't have that on record, so therefore they're going after the corporate account. So that's actually how one would take control of a court case or a warrant because of a stupid ticket, right?
Yes, they're coming after the corporate individual. And if you're using the same name as the corporate individual, you're being attached as the collateral to the corporate individual.
We go after the court case just like the driver's license, right?
Yeah. And see, you can always come in and claim you made a mistake by signing that traffic ticket wrong.
Okay, that's what I've got to do for that. Legally tagged, insured, and all that. I want to talk about all that stuff later, but with all that intact, and I still got a ticket that turned into a warrant because obviously I don't have the right address. Nothing's catching up to me in time. So therefore, they've got this warrant ticket situation, and it's all for the corporate name, but how do you take care of it? So now this is the resolution for that.
Yes. When you have when you're registered with the post office the right way, now you just killed that corporate entity. That's why these
I'm going in for a change of address.
Forms, they're not going to hand them out right and left. They're going to say, well, we don't have that. Well, it's on their website if you can't get it from them. But if you go into the post office and you ask for it and they refuse, we'll say, well, go pull it off your computer.
Now, this change of address goes directly, that change of address goes directly from that form that we're talking on tonight, not the traditional change of address form that they have at the post office, correct? We just
You're not changing your address. You're changing your name.
I've got to give an address.
Identifying who is living at that place.
Patrick, I don't have a home.
Well, basically, get one.
Well, I'm working on it, but I'm using actually the post office address with a suite number.
Okay.
Oh, as a box.
I'm putting in,
You're using the box number as a suite number?
Yeah.
Well, basically, when you get this sent up to the state capital and start shutting down all your other fraudulent contracts that are associated that stem from that one false document. And see,
right, the stealing of my land is paid for. Yes.
Yeah,
it's more evidence that I'm pulling together.
You can't get a driver's license. You can't get a passport without a certificate of live birth.
Right, I got that.
Yeah. And see,
now.
That's the name of the game that they're trying to play. And see, that's why I went after the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, and the State Registrar, because if they do not correct that certificate of live birth, they are now obstructing justice for the living individual by depriving me of having a lawful document that shows who I am.
Oh, God, what a mess.
Oh,
I'm going to have to play with a new,
Yeah, we could shut down this country in a heartbeat if people really realize what I'm talking about here.
Not too many people want to hear it, Patrick.
Well, that's the problem.
Well, it sounds like, though, once we have our first success in getting some funds, the next thing we do is go back and work up against a little bit against the people who obstructed us.
Well, keep me posted.
I don't know what they're going to come, and basically I'm just got burned out. So if I get out of the system, I'm going to take some time, well-deserved time off.
What you going to do?
Fire the world.
Well, I mean, for yourself. You got a secret vacation spot you're going to? Don't tell us where. Or a secret project?
I don't know where I'm going. That's the problem. I don't even know.
Okay. So you're just going to let go and relax for a while.
I'm just going to be gone.
Okay. I get that. You really have worked hard at this. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have our assignment here, right?
Yes.
I'm happy.
Do the 4232 false registry and get them off to the proper addresses. Okay, well...
Start practicing signing your name the opposite way, Alice.
With no colon in between. Or should we use the colon?
You can. It doesn't make any difference as long as you've got them in the right order.
Okay.
Okay? Family name first, then your middle name, then your last or permanent name or given name.
Okay. Very
people
good.
Just didn't realize that surname means superior.
Huh.
It's out front.
Right.
Even though King Edward IV brought about the surname to try and put it at the end and saying it's a last name, because up until that point in time, and that was in 1434 or 36 or whatever, that he came up with that in England to basically take control of the Scots and the Irish, because they were all operating in clans. So you went to the Kennedy clan, and then you found Jack, or you found Bobby. Okay?
Yeah, well, our lineage is established.
Yeah.
We still go back to the lineage no matter what. It still stems from that.
The people in the Middle East or the Far East are still using that scenario.
Okay.
Everybody is Yao or Ying or whatever. That's their family name. And then Ying, whatever.
Well, it was easy here because they homogenized us so quickly.
Here in this country, you were a Cherokee, a Black Hawk, Iowa, Arapaho, Sioux, a Dakota, and then you found Running Deer or Sleeping Elk or Spawn Deer or whatever her name was out there after that. But you went to the tribe first. You always go to the family first.
Okay, Patrick, I've recorded this call. Should I send it to you for the website, or can I post it to the group myself?
Well, if you save it as a WMA, okay, that'll shrink it down in size, and hopefully it's less than about 2.5 meg. Then you should be able to download it.
Oh, that's your limit is 2.5. Your limit is 2.5 meg.
Well, that's what Yahoo or something like that. I tried to download a couple that were a little over 3 meg today, and I had to go back and chop up that audio that I did yesterday.
Okay.
4 parts instead of 3 to get it down below almost 2 meg. Then I was able to download all 4 parts onto the site there.
Well, I recorded it in MP3, which is a fairly compressed format. But if I need to split it up, I can split it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Send me an email tomorrow, and we'll talk.
Okay.
I got one more question to you guys on audio with Skype accounts, and I don't know if anyone wants to follow up with that. You can download large files and audios.
Yeah, on Skype.
If we can collectively do that too on top of this.
Yeah. Or I could separately email this to anybody, because my email has a 20 megabyte limit, so I could send the full conversation to anybody personally.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So I think we have something to do, and we can probably collect problems and questions during the week and solve them next week.
Yes.
We're going to need someone's email, or is it going to be through the site again?
Oh well, I'll remind everybody on the site about the meeting. Is that okay?
Yeah, I'll leave the site open, and I'll probably turn it over to a couple other people.
Okay. Yeah, you go relax.
Might be one of them, Tom. So I'll talk to you later.
Okay, very good. Very good.
But check in on us every now and then, Patrick. Don't just, check in on us every now and then.
Well, yeah, probably to come in and kick your butt.
Oh, that's all right.
We're not getting done.
Right. Well, if as long as this Monday night thing works, this might be the easiest way for you because you got us all at once rather than separate phone calls.
Well, I think you're going to really be surprised when you start using your name the right way and you get that address or that name postal route customer form filled out, and then you get that certificate of live birth corrected.
Well, I understand that process, so I think it's very possible I could get that all out to the right places tomorrow. But
I might put a couple more templates up there tomorrow.
Okay.
For,
my only question right now is how to do this certified mail stuff cheap, and if I don't have it figured out right, I might do it the expensive way just to get this done.
Well, how I was planning on doing it, okay, for the certified and for my registered mailings, you write a letter to the postmaster, okay? Now, you put the certified, or if you're doing vouchers, and I'm sending 3 vouchers in to the postmaster here for Iowa. 2 vouchers are for 2 traffic court payments. 1 voucher is for $100,000 to be a withdrawal from that post office. Now that I have my authority with my Form 56s and 56F, and I have my documents, all my W-8 form, and the W-8 form, you use the W-8. You don't use the W-8BN, IMY, or whatever out there. And I posted the W-8 up there. That is for a foreign status. It's a very simple little form. And basically, you are not a U.S. citizen, so that's the first 2 checks you make, and then the other one is you're exempt. So you mark those, and then you sign it with a proper name, and you keep that on record.
Okay.
You will send a copy of it also, along your Form 56s, along your 4232, and your correction for your certificate of live birth to those 3 postmasters, and you'd be surprised what you might end up getting.
Okay, I'd love a surprise.
Yep.
So basically, your $100,000 is for your first part of your vacation.
Yep.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you, Patrick.
Okay. You guys
we'll
take
be
care.
back next week. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Good.